With the emphasis on the sign ordinance at last week's West New York Commissioner meeting, few in attendance were aware of the residents who were outraged about the zoning board's approval of the Meridia project several weeks ago. The angry residents called out Mayor Felix Roque, claiming he had an influence on how the zoning board votes on any given project. While he scoffed at the claim, he did admit that there are no particular guidelines or qualifications necessary to appoint a zoning board member, a volunteer position in the town. One resident wanted to know if there was public notice put out by the town when a position on the zoning board became available. She also wanted to know what qualifications were necessary to be appointed to the zoning board, and the answer by Mayor Felix Roque was surprising to some on hand.
A notice, public notice of the fact that vacancies exist on the zoning board?
I don't believe that I don't think there is a public notice that goes.
Well, then how are members of the public who might be interested supposed to know?
Well, you can always stop by and fill out an intake.
Anyone who's interested in serving on any board should submit a resume. There's a process for that.
Okay.
Submit a resume, and then based upon qualifications or whatever, the board members, the governing body has the determination to make whether they wish to place you or not place you and what board they would place you on. So there is a process for that.
So are there resumes on file for the 3 new zoning board members? Are there resumes on file for the 3
I'm going to say to you that I have not seen a resume. I'm going to say to you what I usually get is maybe a commissioner saying, listen, this person, Joe Schmo, is a good person, I'm recommending it. And that's how I've been doing it. I welcome you to, if you're interested in applying, I welcome you to come in and give me your information.
That explanation didn't sit well with Josh Breakstone, the leader of the anti-Meridia movement, who pressured Roque on the subject.
I'm not going to talk about Meridia here, but to say that you have absolutely nothing to do with that zoning board is absurd, and you guys know it too. Every one of the commissioners has rubber stamped every single person that the mayor has brought up in front of the Board of Commissioners, with the exception, I want to point out, of one, and that's Commissioner Wiley. I'm talking about the ethics and the morality of our commissioners rubber stamping these people with no background who have no business. You know, and I'm not going into the findings of the zoning board, I'm not going into Meridia here, but I just want to point out, with in 1 year of hearings, a year of hearings, with all those members of the board, aside from the chairman, we had 2 members of that board ask 3 questions in a year. Do you think that's okay? Is that the kind of board you want to run in this town? You have voted for unqualified people.
Correct.
How can you possibly do? I can understand abstaining in that case, but I cannot see voting for people that are not qualified to be on that board that you know have no qualifications. Now I want to ask you, Mayor, do you recall having said that you look at qualifications and you do not hire people based on friendship, that you look at qualifications?
When I say qualifications, look, I have a very limited pool of people. That's why I'm encouraging all of you to submit your names, and I'll put you on board. I got like 5 boards for you.
Doug Borden, a resident who has spoke out on the matter before, wasn't as nice, stating that the town is violating its own ordinance that says town employees cannot be appointed to any board. Town Attorney Gilberto Garcia said the ordinance was more open-ended than the way Borden was presenting it, therefore, it was open to interpretation.
There is something in your town code. Yes. Section 231-19, establishment composition, and B, and it says A, composition of zoning board. I won't read all that. And then it goes to B. No member of the zoning board of adjustment may hold an elective office or position under the municipality. That's correct. Elective office. So a position of the municipality that doesn't mean that you could be on the board and actually work for the city.
It could very well be subject to interpretation. It could very well be elected office or elected position.
Okay, well, that's very fuzzy. I think this to avoid the appearance of impropriety, you really need to address that, because when we heard that you had a board member, a zoning board, working for the town, that's kind of shame. So allow me to be blunt.
Pay for both sides.
I just want to say that the Board of Adjustments, and excuse me for reading this, but I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this. I just wanted to say that the Board of Adjustments or the Zoning Board vote on the Capodaglia properties on the corner of 67th Street Boulevard last January, it was reprehensible and unconscionable. It really was.
I'm John Heides with Hudson County TV. For more information, log on to HudsonCountyTV.com.